All right, let's dive right in. Picture this, a brand new billion-dollar stadium project just got the green light for your city. The headlines are everywhere, politicians are patting themselves on the back, but for you, if you own property or you're even thinking about it, it's game time. So what's the right play?
Yeah, because that's really what it all boils down to, right? Is this new stadium a golden ticket that's going to send your property value to the moon? Or is it a fool's errand? You know, one of those massive projects that promises the world, but ends up delivering next to nothing for the average person. Let's break down the game plan.
Okay, first up, let's put on our investor hat. This is the offensive strategy. For anyone looking to make a serious return, a new stadium can be a huge opportunity. But here's the catch. It's only a big win if you know exactly when and where to make your move. And when I say timing is everything, I mean everything. The biggest wins, the real money, it's often made before a single game is even played. Just look at SoFi Stadium out in LA. In the 3 years leading up to its grand opening, home prices in that area just skyrocketed by a whopping 43.4%. Yeah, the smart money got in early, way before the ribbon was cut. And hey, it's not just about selling for a profit. The rental potential can be absolutely explosive. During that same time, the rest of the LA region saw a pretty decent 17% rent increase. But Inglewood, right there around SoFi, a staggering 59% spike. I mean, that is the kind of cash flow investors dream about.
And look, this isn't just some LA thing, not a one-off. When you look at the numbers across the board, it turns out that on average, rents in central cities tend to jump about 8% thanks to new sports facilities. It's a pretty consistent pattern, actually.
Then there's what some people call the gentrification strategy. And the textbook example here is the National Stadium down in DC's Navy Yard. That project completely changed the neighborhood. It brought in a whole new wave of high-income professionals. So for investors who got in early and bought up lower-value properties, well, they saw massive returns as the entire area just completely transformed.
So yeah, location, location, location. But we can get even more specific than that. The research is crystal clear on this. The real financial magic happens in a sweet spot. That's about 1 to 2 miles out from the stadium. You go any further than that, and the effect really starts to drop off.
Okay, but let's flip the coin for a second. What if you're not an investor? What if you're a home buyer, just looking for a place to call home? Well, the story can look very different. What seems like a great opportunity can turn into a pretty high-stakes gamble, fast.
For starters, if you're trying to buy in a neighborhood that already has a stadium, get ready to pay something called the stadium premium. In Philly, for example, homes near the sports complex cost over 44% more than the city average. In Cleveland, it's a 31% markup. You're paying a ton of extra cash just to get in the door.
And here's the real kicker, the biggest risk of all. After you've paid that massive premium, there is absolutely no guarantee your property's value will keep going up. In fact, it might not grow at all.
And listen, this isn't just me being dramatic. We have cold, hard examples. Just look at the pro football stadiums built in the last decade or so. Huge projects, like the AT&T Stadium in Dallas, had pretty much zero positive impact on nearby home values. Some homes in those areas even lost value compared to the rest of the city. So what gives? Why do some stadium projects seem to print money while others are a total bust?
Well, that brings us to the deciding factor, the single most important piece of the puzzle in this whole equation, and that's the development blueprint. The success or failure of a stadium's impact on real estate, it all comes down to what's being built around the stadium itself.
The key phrase you gotta know is mixed-use development. We're not talking about just a stadium surrounded by a giant sea of empty parking lots. No, this is about creating a true destination, an integrated project that's alive and buzzing 365 days a year, with things to do that go way beyond just the game.
So what does that winning blueprint actually look like? Well, for a project to really drive long-term value, you need to check these boxes. You have to ask yourself, are there things to do here all year round? Is there actual retail space built right in? Are there other entertainment venues? If the answer to those is yes, you've probably got a real community anchor. But if the answer is no, then all you have is a concrete giant that's only useful a few dozen days a year.
All right, let's bring it all home. Whether you're an investor playing offense or a home buyer playing defense, it's clear that understanding the development blueprint is, well, it's everything.
So here it is, your final playbook. If you're an investor, your goal is to snag that pre-opening appreciation and lock in those high rental yields. Your strategy, get in early and stay inside that 1 to 2 mile sweet spot. Now, if you're a home buyer, your goal is long-term, steady value growth. The big risk is overpaying for a project that goes nowhere. So your strategy is to dig into those plans and only bet on a real mixed-use development. Which brings us to a final thought, and this is especially for anyone in the DC area watching this. As that big debate over the future of the RFK Stadium site heats up, you now know exactly what to look for. The question isn't just, will they build a stadium anymore? The real question you should be asking is, will they build a lonely, standalone stadium, or will they build a true community anchor? Now you know the difference, and you know exactly what's at stake.